Fred Hart from Interact with us right now.
Brad?
Branding expert, brand creator,
Good.
branding expert.
And
no. Hopefully we just lost your earpiece, but
I'm going to take it out.
All right.
If you guys can still hear me, we're probably still good.
We can hear you. Just
Perfect.
pretend like
Hold
you're
it up a little
drinking
bit.
that microphone there. So
I'm not a singer, so I'm not used to this.
Let's jump right into this because we don't have all day. So we got to let's get right into this. Rise Cold Brew, Fred. Talk about the brand.
Awesome. Well, Rise, I know they're in the New Beverage Showdown here. I think they've got some really nice packaging. Their branding is very clean, very straightforward. Definitely has an optimistic feel. I think a lot with the radiating lines coming from the center. Fuel your mind. Those are kind of interesting little taglines.
The important thing here, you got the brand, you've got the flavor, and you know what it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nitro Cold Brew. Very simple and straightforward. I think what's most interesting about this is a lot of young brands will try to do printing in cans, and they can't meet the minimum. So here you see them using a stock aluminum can and applying a sticker label over the top. So a little bit of something different at shelf that I think has a nice tactile difference.
All right, next, let's talk about Lion.
All right,
another
Lion.
New Beverage Showdown brand.
Another New Beverage Showdown
Lion
brand.
is extremely illustrative. Definitely a ton going on. I think they lack a little bit of visual focus. Makes me wonder why it's Lion. I'm guessing maybe perhaps because of the dandelions on the bottle.
I looked at the dandelion as a warning label. Either you love dandelion or you steer away because of allergies.
Yeah, someone was talking yesterday. The dandelion tea is the #1 selling SKU, though, so it's really interesting to see that work from dry tea coming over to RTD, where it's maybe less familiar.
Really excited about these guys.
If you're walking by this on the shelf, does that tell you dandelion? This includes dandelions, or do you just think that's nice flourish?
No, I think I'm just intuiting that. I think for most consumers, it's going to be lost, and then prebiotic provides another level of complexity of how
there's a lot going on that bottle. We talked a little bit about that with those guys, and they're working on that. But it's a good evolution. This is our first product. It's only 30 days out. I mean, for the first packaging.
I think they're off to a great start for a brand. We've seen far worse.
What do you got here? We got Drink Maple. Here you go.
Yeah, here we've got Drink Maple. So very clean, simple packaging. A lot of white, using that as a kind of a proxy for a clean ingredient deck. It's organic maple water. That's nothing else. Their format's pretty interesting. It's Drink Maple. I know they have the watermelon, so it's Drink Watermelon. Clean design. I think it lacks a little bit of emotion, though. It's very straightforward. It's just telling me what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely snowy Vermont kind of. You drink it, it tastes like Vermont. It's pretty good. All right,
Vermont.
You ready for a curveball?
Tagline.
Ready for a curveball?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh boy.
Both uglies.
Uglies. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They're not ugly.
New brand and old brand.
So I know that this is the...
it's the original brand.
The original, and this is the recent redesign, which is pretty interesting. What I think the previous one has done a good job at is having a little bit of the visual complexity that LaCroix has, right, with those crazy backgrounds, and I view it as a little bit more sparkling water. I think based off this, beautifully executed, but it feels a little bit more like soda in my mind. Something that doesn't have sugar. Exactly.
Yeah, I was a tongue model.
Yeah.
Well, this gives me, I told the guys yesterday on the lounge that new one has a bit of a retro 80s soda feel to it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely got a flat graphic. It's big, it's bold, it's recognizable, which is the most important thing. They've done a stellar job of that.
Do you have a preference between the two?
Yes. Speaking of retro.
Still Time Botanical Soda.
Still Time Botanical Soda.
So definitely leaning into the botanical aspect. You think of those kind of old illustrations from the the New World when they first discovered it. Definitely the bee is at the center front. Do I want something that's a little bit more retro, throwbacky? It reminds me of Fentimans a little bit, and I think it needs some more visual differentiation.
Okay, you ready to go? Go crazy here. Okay.
All right.
It's cannabinoid.
So, I'm from Colorado. We know a lot about THC. This does not have it, but certainly the CBDs are the cannabinoids. Extremely interesting format, 7-ounce beer bottle, essentially. You don't really see that.
Did you get to taste this?
I did. I tried that one yesterday. Tastes like Captain Crunch.
Tastes like Crunch Berries.
It's Captain Crunch soda.
It's Captain Crunch soda. It's amazing.
Cartoon cereal
He calls
crunch.
it.
Wow.
He said you should call it Mind F, which bleep. I mean, you like soda. It just blows you away.
No, I don't think I would expect that at all based on the color palette alone. When I think of like Captain Crunch, and that whole visual world, none of that is represented here. So I think I'm going to be thrown off as a consumer when I try it for the first time.
Yeah, for me, this is a brand that has so much potential, and there's a lot that they can do with their messaging. The hierarchy's kind of off. The cannabinoid to me was like, it could either be the next Minecraft or who knows. But
ton of education that has to happen with cannabinoids.
All right, ready? Limitless. Limitless.
Well, we should crack that open, and I think we'd get to a new place in this live stream right now.
I think so.
Definitely bold. What I like about it is the kind of super graphic approach. I've seen their whole lineup. Beautiful die cut, custom die cut. I know that it's a custom bottle even. They have it embossed.
Oh, yeah.
Ton of polish with this brand. I know they're in the New Beverage Showdown. I personally like it. I think the brand identity is a super graphic and says I'm going to be a superhero if I drink this, hence Limitless.
Yeah, for me, the word limitless is a little backed off, and I missed that part, but I definitely know what it is.
Yeah.
And I think in the taste it was so chill and so delicious and smooth, and I thought Limitless was a little, I don't know, a little
right, yeah,
or maybe it's just limitless.
You probably got to be careful about leaning into the monster sort of space with that promise. But you bring up a good point. I can't really read it, but I certainly recognize it.
It's a good product, and you'll remember it if you're willing to make the leap. There you go. All right, ready for, I think it's Vimon. Vimon?
Yeah.
Cranberry cayenne, sipping something or other.
Got a little something extra
drink.
hanging out on the bottom.
Organic sipping drink.
And I mean,
what do you think of that?
There's a lot going on. They're putting a mason jar on a mason jar. I don't know that that's necessarily an appropriate duplication of the graphic, but organic sipping drink, apple vinegar cider. I think.
So you're finding the things you need to find there. It's an interesting delivery method, and it's kind of meta.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
All right, I want to make sure we get to the Switchels here. Mother Switchel, it's like a showdown versus Up Mountain Swizzle. Check these out.
Well, I know the Swizzle one is carbonated. Mother is as well, I guess. I really love the look of Mother. It almost feels like a tarot card reader has come to me and told me my future in this bottle, which is really kind of great.
It's a good product, too.
Yeah, really beautiful execution. Interested to see how that tastes. Up Mountain, familiar with these guys. Love that they moved into a new bottle. Obviously something that says inherently that it sparkles. Yep. A lot of people still, like, what is swizzle? Is that a Snoop Dogg phrase? I think there's a little explanation that needs to happen there for the consumer, but nonetheless, interesting product.
If you're willing to make the leap with Up Mountain, which I think this is a brand that I would love to see with a little more branding, because these guys they have kind of like the Haiphong Foods methodology where they're thinking one thing, simple. So they made a Switchel, then they're like, oh, we'll carbonate it. And they're like, and I was like, well, why do you call it original? Are there going to be other flavors? Maybe. They just care about this. There's so much passion, and I'd like to see more of the passion come out in the brand, because it comes out in the taste. It's just explosively ginger.
Yeah, it really has a strong flavor. It's very good.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so final thoughts on all these brands. What do you see any common themes, or do you see anything like that people need to work on, or?
I think if I had to call out a theme, I'd say that there are a lot of young brands, so specifically Limitless, Rise, and Ugly, and Mother, that are starting out in the industry that have done a really good job of telling their story, representing who they are through their branding and their packaging, which is a tough thing, because when you're an entrepreneur and you're bootstrapping a lot of the stuff, one of the last things you want to spend on is the design portion, right? If you've got Illustrator, you know how to do it yourself, or you got a cousin in college,
right?
They can handle it.
Right. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Fred Hart,
awesome.
I could talk to you all day.
Yeah, likewise.
Brad, too.
Brad,
thanks for coming on. We'll do it again. Freddie on the spot.